Hello everyone, welcome back here on the Osium channel. I would like to speak today about conversations because this is a terminology that I hear more and more. People say that they would like to have a talent conversation or a development conversation. And I would like to ask the question, what do we actually mean when we talk about a conversation? We probably want to express that this is a deeper interaction compared to a normal day-to-day meeting that we may have with other people. And so let's look into this a bit more in detail. The first point that I would like to make is that the conversation probably starts before the conversation starts. What I mean by that is that before we actually meet the other person, we have that in mind. Sometimes we even have the dialogue already in mind that we anticipate. And all of that is in reality a very good preparation for the conversation. This stepping back, this reflecting ahead of the meeting, what could happen, what the other person maybe has in mind, and then we play that through. And all of this is indeed good preparation, and I would therefore recommend to pay attention to that, not let it go by without memorizing it or without being aware of the kind of thoughts and ideas that we had before we actually met the person. And then comes the moment where we interact, we get together. And here I believe that it is important to be mindful of the fact that we are in a bubble. Many philosophers have reflected about this situation of being in our own reality. And so the fact is that both of us, when we get together, are in a bubble, and the question is, how can we burst the bubble? How can we create a connection? And I think that during a conversation we want to have a even better connection together. And that connection happens not only at the intellectual level, it happens also at the emotional level, and it happens also through the body language, as a matter of fact. If you think about the impact that a smile can have, look at this youngest YouTuber that you may know, who is actually my little niece, and look at her beautiful smile. Isn't that contagious? That's, you know, such a strong element of body language. And therefore we should have a holistic way of engaging, and we should be mindful of the way we come across, not only through the words that we say, but indeed with the empathy that we have for the other person and through our body language. Michel de Montaigne, who is a French philosopher, said that we can have a conversation also with animals. You know, that indicates simply that the conversation doesn't only happen at the intellectual level, it happens also through the body language and through the emotions. And then it is important to be mindful of the fact that we will encounter barriers. There will be stumbling stones in our way. Multiple ones. For example, words may mean something different for the two parties. Intercultural differences may exist where one situation has a different meaning for one person and for the other person. We might also simply disagree on the interpretation of a possible solution. There might be a conflict about the way forward and the interpretation of what would be the right solution. All of these barriers actually should be picked up. They should be part of the conversation. A conversation allows for time to observe what is going on in the relation and to observe where is understanding and where is maybe no common understanding, and to put that on the table and to bring it to the attention and then to see if there is a way to build a common understanding and maybe even a common problem solution. I think that is the power of a conversation. All of that is what makes a conversation probably richer than a day-to-day interaction on facts and on figures. Last but not least, I think it is important to be mindful of the fact that a conversation has a certain dynamic. There is a way into the conversation, and this is when we greet and when we acknowledge the other person and maybe we inquire about their well-being. And at the end of the conversation, when maybe we had a more intense interaction, maybe even emotions came up and so on, well, we need to come back to a more normal level of interaction so that we have together a way out of the conversation. And that is again, the polite inquiry maybe about what the plans are for the weekend. In some countries that would be typically something that people would ask, and in other countries maybe not. But there is a way to come back to a more neutral level, and that is the right way to exit together that conversation. So I hope that these couple of thoughts and ideas will be helpful for your future conversations, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.